Good evening. Welcome back. We're doing another episode here of 1990 Maxx Review. This will be cards 51 through 100. Of course, this is the 35th anniversary of these cards being released. I wanted to do it a couple years ago with the 88 Maxx Set and just totally spaced it, and spaced it last year with the 89 Maxx. But I like the design of the 90 Maxx, and it's, in my opinion, really the last Maxx Set before they went crazy on their production runs, and I don't want to say devalued the cards, but made the cards much easily accessible, and consequently, the prices did fall in the secondary market. But let's go ahead and get started. This card's 51 through 100. Got Junie Donlevy, and I believe I made the comment in the previous video, this was a great set to enter the 90s with. It does have that 90s feel, that little bit of neon. It's a very, I don't want to call it a plain design, but I think it's well thought out. I like that neon accents around the black border. Junie Donlevy, longtime car owner. And you'll see at the time he had 511 starts as an owner, with only one win coming in 1981 with driver Jody Ridley. But if you look, he was pretty consistent, especially in the early 80s. There are multiple top 10 finishes with drivers like Dick Brooks, Jody Ridley. Kenny Schrader ran for him in 85, 86, and 87. And then 88, Benny Parsons ran. And then 89, he had a handful of drivers. Jimmy Means is card 52 in this set. Longtime independent driver. You'll see he has the most career starts. Now, this doesn't show the actual number. He ended up having, I think, 454 career starts or something like that. But he has the most career starts without a top 5 finish. Mike Beam, longtime crew chief. Jack Roush, Hall of Fame car owner there. Felix Sabates with that very early 90s coat. And look at those hard cards that they had. The NASCAR ID almost just looks like a driver's license. Now they have the hard cards for most of the people. Ted Condor was Felix's business partner in the 42 car, because if you look at their last names, the team was called Sabco. So you have S-A-B-C-O. So that's where you get the Sabco from. And I believe Ted Condor had something to do with the original Charlotte Hornets basketball team as well. I know Felix Sabates did. There's Hut Strickland, drove for Rod Osterlund in 89. Started 90 rideless, ended up in Bobby Allison's car. Ken Reagan drove his own car for a couple races in 1990. I believe that was the last year. I think maybe he made a race or two in 91 or thereabouts. His son David carved out a pretty decent career. Busch Series driver Ronald Cooper has one win. I believe it was in 1988 at maybe Rougemont or Lanier. I can't remember where. I'm trying to see who these drivers are in the background. It looks like Rick Mast back there in the white and blue. And then, not sure who's in this blue, but I'll do a little bit more research on that one. Pretty cool. Jeff Hammond. Hope he gets in the Hall of Fame. He's a good crew chief and did pretty good on the broadcast as well. Elton Sawyer, current competition director for NASCAR. Leo Jackson with, looks like that'd be 89, so it'd be Brett Bodine. Leo was the car owner for Harry Gant, but Brett Bodine there in the background. Rick Hendrick with Dr. Jerry Punch making a cameo. I'm trying to see who else may be in the background there. Somebody with, I can't even see what's on that hat. Maybe somebody else can tell me what that hat on that guy behind him says. Dale Inman, Hall of Famer, crew chief, most championships for a crew chief. I can't tell if that's Richard back there or not. That might be Richard or might be a crewman. But Dale has 8 Cup Series championships as a crew chief. The recently deceased Travis Carter was a car owner, was a crew chief. This is a rookie card. Dick Trickle, 1989 Cup Series Rookie of the Year. He was an ASA champion, has 2 Busch Series wins, and being interviewed by TSN right there. Brad Teague, longtime Busch Series driver. Made several Cup starts, has 1 Busch win at Martinsville in 1987. Richard Broom, and there is Lake Speed in the background. But Richard Broom is the crew chief for Kenny Schrader. We have a checklist, so we'll go past that. The late J.D. McDuffie. Brock Beard has a pretty cool book about J.D. Recommend that. It's a very good read. J.D. is an independent driver who ended his career with 653 starts without a win. The most starts all time. Tragically killed in 1991 at Watkins Glen. Longtime independent driver Dave Marcus, and one thing with his Goodyear hats, always has a little Chevy emblem there on the Goodyear. And what's funny, I guess it's not funny, but in 1989, Lifebuoy dropped his sponsorship, and I believe Dave actually read about it in Winston Cup Scene newspaper. Harry Melling, championship owner from 1988 with Bill Elliott. Journeyman driver Phil Barkdahl drove mostly for a car owner, drove for himself, but also drove for a lady named Helen Ray Smith in the mid to late 80s. Leonard Wood, part of the famous Wood Brothers family. Rick Wilson, journeyman driver for many years, helped get Morgan McClure team put on the map. Gary Nelson, former NASCAR crew chief turned inspector. He is no longer involved with racing to my knowledge, but I hope he gets in the Hall of Fame as well. He had a pretty good career. Ben Hess, journeyman driver in basically every series that he raced in, but he won some ARC races. Larry Mack chewing on a pin during his time at King Racing as crew chief for Joe Ruttman, Morgan Shepherd, Ricky Rudd, and Brett Bodine. Darrell Bryant was crew chief for several different drivers over the years. His son Kirk tried to run in the Cup Series in 1986, but after 4 races withdrew and the team shut down. Jimmy Horton, another journeyman driver with several wins in the ARCA Series. Kenny Bernstein, Hall of Fame drag racer with his own team, but in the Cup Series he struggled, only had 3 wins, 2 with Ricky Rudd, 1 with Brett Bodine. Doug Reichert, championship crew chief as a 20-year-old for Dale Earnhardt in 1980. Hopefully he gets in the Hall of Fame. He's worked for many, many teams over the years. Lake Speed, 1 career win, 1988 at Darlington in his own team. Mike Alexander, Bobby Allison's replacement in 88. Boy, I'm getting my dates messed up here. 1988, he replaced Bobby Allison after Bobby's career-ending crash at Pocono, but later that year in a super late model race, down in, was it the Snowball Derby there in Pensacola, had a serious head injury himself, which ultimately would lead to his retirement. Larry McClure, I believe Larry just recently passed away, part of the owners of the Morgan McClure team. Robin Pemberton, longtime crewman for Jack Roush. Now, I think he still works for NASCAR, could be wrong. Hall of Famer Waddell Wilson, great crew chief, lots of wins, long time in the sport. Jimmy Spencer, driving for Buddy Baker in 1990, he drove for Rod Osterland. 2 career Cup wins in 94. Speaking of Rod Osterland, the 1980 Cup Series championship car owner for Dale Earnhardt. Hollywood stuntman Stan Barrett has made sporadic Cup starts from the early 80s to the early 90s. Tommy Ellis, 1988 Busch Series champion. Danny Schiff, co-owner of the 88 car with Buddy Baker. And there's Buddy. He was the other half of the Baker Schiff racing team. Buddy has 19 career Cup wins and is in the Hall of Fame. Sterling Marlin, 1994 and 5 Daytona 500 winner. We have Kenny Wallace. Tim Brewer, I'd like to see Tim get in the Hall of Fame as a crew chief. He did really good. Chuck Bown, the 1990 Busch Series champion. Former ASA champion and standout Butch Miller. Connie Saylor. And we're going to end with fans' favorite, DW. So that has been our set review, cards 51 through 100. Thanks for watching, and we will see you later.